Michael Gove is calling on the Labour Party leadership to intervene and stop the felling of street trees in Sheffield. The Secretary of State for the Environment has accused Sheffield City Council of alienating the people it's meant to serve. The council says the tree replacement work is only one small part of the AMI contract, which the majority of Sheffield residents want. Mr Gove says the council's behaviour towards local citizens is a disgrace.
They're determined to press ahead. I'm afraid they've got tunnel vision on this issue, and that's why I think that the Labour leadership should intervene in order to call this renegade council to heel, to ensure that A, the environmental damage that's ongoing ends, and B, the treatment of citizens, which frankly I think disgraces the Labour Party, stops as well.
Now, a package of funding worth £260 million has today been launched by the government to help improve air quality in some of the most polluted areas of the country. Sheffield is one of the local authorities set to benefit from this funding, and Councillor Jack Scott is the Cabinet Member for Transport and Sustainability. He's here with us on BBC Radio Sheffield. Good afternoon to you, Jack.
Good afternoon.
So this sounds like good news, doesn't it? How much will Sheffield be getting?
So Sheffield and Rotherham between us, because it's a joint piece of work we're doing together, we'll get about £1.9 million, and that's because we share a common area around the east of Sheffield and the west of Rotherham that is a problem. This is a fantastic investment. It's one of the largest investments the government's making anywhere in the country today, and it's certainly the largest investment that's ever been made in this type of work in Sheffield or Rotherham. So it's fantastic news for us. We've said as a council really consistently that air quality pollution across the UK is a public health crisis, and the government should be doing even more to fix it. This is a small step, so it's a good one, but nonetheless it's only a small step to help us clean up our air, and we're really pleased to be announcing it today and all the different things that we'll be doing in the near future to clean up all of our air.
So what are you going to do with the money then?
So we're going to do several things. We know where some of the biggest problems of air quality are, and we need to tackle those areas most. So we'll be doing some work to improve our taxi fleet. We know that actually taxis are a bit of a problem in Sheffield in terms of their pollution levels, so looking at a leasing scheme for taxis where they lease out electric vehicles, which obviously don't pollute anything like as much as some of the big diesel black cabs that we have at the moment. We're also going to be looking at improving our own fleet as a council, making sure that where we've got pinch points and junctions that aren't working very well, that's causing pollution, that we get those fixed and get those right. And of course, this announcement today comes on top of the £1.9 million we announced a few months ago to improve 115 buses in Sheffield, which will give us the cleanest bus fleet almost anywhere in the entire country, which is fantastic news for our great city.
When do you get your money?
So we'll be pulling the money down straight away. We need to spend it really quickly. There's a much bigger piece of work that's happening at the same time alongside this as well, and that'll give us a proper plan to know exactly what we need to do to bring our air quality levels to a safe level. We do know that government are keen for us to do that. You'll also be aware, because I think you covered it before, that Sheffield Council actually was part of the people who took the government to court because we were so concerned about their pretty floppy, not very strong plans. So this is a fantastic step today, but it's only a small step, and the government still has got to do so much more.
Whilst you're here, Jack, of course, a couple of news stories that have come to fruition today. Firstly, we've just heard that Dan Jarvis has been announced as Labour candidate to become South Yorkshire Mayor. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I think regardless of who people voted for, members have spoken really clearly in this election that they want Dan Jarvis to be Labour's candidate. I think it's the job of the Labour Party now to unite around Dan. I'm sure everyone will want to do that, regardless of who they voted for as individuals. We've got a job to do, which is to win the South Yorkshire mayoral election in 43 days. That's a big job. We can't take anything for granted, and it's absolutely vital that we all come together now. I think members have spoken absolutely crystal clearly in terms of who they want, and they knew when they were voting for Dan that he had his view about doing his role alongside being an MP.
It's been a messy campaign, hasn't it?
It has. Well, it's been a long time coming, hasn't it? And that's frustrating for all of us in Sheffield and probably all of South Yorkshire as well. We now have got to unite, put that messiness that we've had over the last couple of years behind us, move on together as a united, strong party. Clearly, members want Dan Jarvis to do that, and I think they've spoken loudly and clearly that they want him to be able to get on and be our candidate, and I hope in the fullness of time be our mayor, and I think he'll do a brilliant job. So we've all got to come together now and make sure we get him elected as our mayor in South Yorkshire in 40 odd days' time.
Did you vote for your colleague Ben Curran then?
I've not told anyone who I voted for.
Michael Gove, he's in the headlines today. This tree debate, which is ongoing, it's really happening nationally and indeed internationally. He's accused Sheffield City Council of environmental vandalism and intimidating its own voters. What would your reaction be to that then?
Oh, I'm absolutely outraged at Michael Gove's intervention. He's not doing this because he is a friend of Sheffield. He's doing this to cause mischief. Michael Gove has it in his power to stop this work if he thinks it's that bad, and he's chosen not to do that. He's also got it in his power to give us the funding that we need to be able to take a different approach to the programme, and he's not doing that either. So this is just the kind of silly, petty mischief making that I think we've unfortunately come to expect from Michael Gove in all the jobs that he's had. He's trying to cause problems rather than create solutions. We've always said we'll take a different view if we can find a way to change the programme without that meaning we have to take money out of social care and looking after vulnerable people. Michael Gove has been written to. We've spoken to him on several occasions and said, yeah, of course we can change this, but we can't do it at a detriment. We can't do it at huge cost to other council services that are so vital, and he refuses to put his hand in his pocket and actually help us out in any meaningful way whatsoever. So I think he's just causing trouble. We shouldn't give it the time of day. He's doing it to try and foment difficulty within our amazing city, and I think Sheffielders will take a pretty poor view of that. If Michael Gove was serious about sorting out any of the issues that we've got on this, or indeed any project, he'd put his hand on his pocket and he'd fund those differences to be made. He's not doing that because he's not interested in sorting out. He's just interested in mischief making and grabbing a cheap headline, and I think Sheffield deserves a lot better than that.
Jack, thank you. That's Councillor Jack Scott, the Cabinet Member for Transport and Sustainability.